Welcome, everyone. This is another Jazz Matters podcast. And today I got my old friend. I go back a long ways with him, Mr. Sultan Muhammad. And me and Sultan go back a long ways. And I want you to know who he is. And I want him to go ahead and open up and tell you some things that we don't know. And he might not even know. But we're going to keep it all things jazz. And right now, Vaughn has just joined us. And Vaughn,
I'm in the dark.
yes, you are. Yeah, you're in the dark.
Yep.
You gotta turn the light on.
All right.
Oh man.
Give me 1 second.
Well, that's how it is. But what I'm gonna do is, Sultan, you can for all the people who don't know, and a lot of people do know you, but for all those that don't, go ahead and let them know who you are, where you're from, and how you got started in this business.
Well, that's not a three-part question. But first of all, it's an honor. It's really that you would have me on this podcast, as I am Sultan Muhammad, born Frederick Thaxton, and just my religious and spiritual growth and development. I grew into the name of Sultan Muhammad. Really, people over the last, I probably say 55, 60 years of my life know me as Sultan Muhammad. And I started in this, learning how to play an instrument when I was in grade school. Went through high school, went to college, on different instruments. Music has been a great part of my life, my adult life anyway. Been playing professionally since I was 16 years old. Started playing professionally, when you start making money. So when someone started paying you money to do engagements where you're on the professional road. So it's been since I was a teenager, and here we are today. Like you mentioned early, and I'm talking about the 50 years or more that actually have been playing professionally in the music industry, recording, songwriting, and some of these things. And I think about our relationship go back pretty close to those years. And
yeah, every bit 40.
Yeah, so it's been a journey, and it's been a journey of growing, developing, and just learning things. We're always searching for ideas and in the music and modes and means of expression to the listener. However they receive it, however they see it, however the listener get it, then that's what I desire. I really think most of us desire that, to whatever we're doing with the music. And in this instance, it's similar, very similar to abstract art. However you see it, whatever you get out of it, then that's what it is to the individual. To music, that's my ultimate desire. I don't label the music. I don't want to label the music jazz, rock, R&B, or whatever. However the listener perceive it and get it, and whatever it means to them, then that's the desired results.
Wow.
Yes, and that reminds me of when we used to play together many years ago, and our concept of what we were doing when I met you. Today's concept of jazz is what we were doing 40 years ago.
Absolutely.
And it's I mean in the context of being predominantly electric instruments versus the acoustic setting of acoustic bass and acoustic piano. But the strange thing is that a lot of the stuff we were doing then, the younger generation has picked up on it, and it's like a flashback to us. Can you kind of explain your interpretation, because that's mine, but your interpretation on how the younger generation now is perceiving what they call jazz or smooth jazz, and what we were doing at the time we were doing the explorations of it, coming straight out of the fusion era.
Yeah, well, it always have been influences, examples. You know, when we came along, there were certain people that we looked up to, and depends on how much we were influenced about what they were doing, then we did the best we could to imitate that. So a lot of times when we're going through this, we really don't realize the effect that we have on our audience and listeners. We don't think about it as much, but that's a very good point you brought up there. You know how the youngsters is actually dealing with what we would call jazz music today. And what we were doing back then, you know, we was rebels, really. In a sense, we went against the norm. We went against the grain of how we wanted to express the music. And like I say, be it jazz. And so I see the younger people doing that today. They get criticized because, you know, people that say, well, it's not this or it's not that. But I'm talking about influences, and the influences that we've had on them to strive for the highest perfection of whatever they're doing. That's got to be a positive. And it's a need for that generation and our generation to connect. Because we don't, we'll lose, I think, the only pure art form that the Creator has blessed us with.
Well, yeah, as a matter of fact, you touched on the fact that our influences was determining our coming up through the same form of music and basically experimenting with it. But the difference, I think, is that we not only got into the artist.
Keep talking, bro. I hear you.
We not only got into the artist, we actually got into the music per se. And the way I say that is simply because I see where a lot of young musicians playing today, but and they do have some influences I can tell that they've listened to, but I can also realize that they are kind of limited. And in other words, let's take the blues for instance. When Miles Davis came out with the album Kind of Blue, I heard some young people play it many years after, but not that far back, and they were playing it, but they were using the concept of a rock blues. In other words, Miles played it in the concept of a modal blues, which is a difference. And I realized that they could not understand that you can't just say it's the blues and play it the same way you play a rock blues. Miles's concept was modal. But to understand that's the way we got into the music, Sultan, was to understand what Miles was doing, try to research why the chord structure was the way it was. And I don't see that in the younger people today.
Well, technology, as we know, have changed, I would say, the approach, how the music is being played, how it's thought about, is because we come up playing. That's when, you had nightclubs, we had venues that we could go to and just refine and develop our music. But in the technical age that we're in, with all of the sequencing and going on, the music is not what it was. It's more of a generic version of it, I would say. It's not even thought about the same way. So the technology have changed the platform in which the younger generation uses now to write and compose their music. And you know, you mentioned the modal plan and stuff like that. We used to actually sit and have just like a think tank with a group of us, and we would talk about how we wanted to approach the music. Well, you know, it's different today. I mean, they're going straight to the sequence of writing beats. You know what I mean? And a lot of times it's not even thought about. They discover something that they could use to benefit themselves, and they go in and into it with the thought that they create. But we know that man discover much more than he creates. It's already here. So the technology, in a sense, have been a plus for this generation of musicians, where, you know, we look at it. And that's, you know, that's a good observation of it, or just good thought you're talking about, bro. I mean, Edwin, about the modal plan and how Miles approached the kind of blue, rather than when you heard it years later and how it was approached. And that's, you know, that's why I said we come up playing. That era, they played nightly. So they were developing their skills. So, and taking time to actually sit and talk about the music. Well, what we want to do with this? What we want to do with this flat 9 chord, or this raised 7 chord? What we want to play on that? You don't hear that today.
Yeah, and that's my point. And that's my point right there, is the fact that they do more emulating than actual, you know, theoretically playing, you know, in the concept of the theory itself. They see, and I'm talking about a lot, not all, a lot of the younger generations that are playing now. The technology has definitely been a plus for them to adapt to, which is great. You know, just like it was back in our day. By the time the Fender Rhodes came out, you know, that was a plus. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, now they've gone so much farther than the Fender Rhodes. Now they're layering all these parts together on a sequencer or workstation of some sort. But in their minds and in the concept of playing, they're limited to exactly where they can expand into that situation. Don't you think?
I agree. I agree with that.
Yes.
I agree with it. I'll say in most parts of it. But, and you know, and I'm not agreeing with it to disagree, which you have a very, very valid point. But I still think we have to find a way to continue to compose the music. And I think in the long run, the influence that we have had, we'll continue to have that. Is, you know, because just the great divide that we're dealing with.
Right.
The meeting of the minds, young, old, and the middle age, is needed more so today than ever. Because we know we have a great responsibility to society. We have a great responsibility as artists to contribute to the changes that's needed in this social disorder, civil unrest. Because you see, that's what I have a big problem with. A lot of the youngsters, they seem to not think about that as much, maybe as we did. And I think the awareness and the need for it, that's gonna come from us, bro. That's gonna come from us.
Well,
I think
it's got to. And really, when I was talking about that generation, like you saying, the divide, the gap in the generation of musicians and the way they think, there were some musicians I had come across that said, "Oh yeah, I listened to some Coltrane and I listened to Miles and stuff," and but then they say, "Well, that's old stuff. That's that, that's, in other words, they don't want to do that." now. You see what I'm saying? And I was like, you're doing it anyway. You don't know it. So what
Right.
you have to do is understand it. That's the problem. You see what I'm
That's
saying?
it.
But pushing right along, I know you have some projects you're working on, and you want to tell us a little bit about those?
Yes, I'm working on my solo album. We had our first release last year, 2019, a little over a year ago now, and we actually in the process October of releasing the next single from that project. And the name of the song is "What the Hell Is Going On."
Hey, it's a fitting name right about now.
See, and I wanted to, like I was saying, we still have a responsibility to society, to promote change. And with this coronavirus, civil unrest, I find that the people that think they know what's going on, approach to it, or have a solution to change it, they really don't know. But they don't know that they don't know. So that's the title of my song, What the Hell Is Going On? To promote thought. And
yes,
so the words of so what are you talking about, Sultan Muhammad? Well, just think about what I said. In the midst of everything that's happening, nobody have come up with a solution thus far. And we have all kinds of information, far and wide, here and there, individually, collectively. But we going through this. We know what we know, but we really don't know. So we put our trust in the Most High God, that He protect us through this. If not, we're looking at devastation like we never seen before. Nothing will go back like it was. I don't think. Things have changed.
yes.
It's not going back.
Right.
So we will have to adapt to what's really going on now and forward, because it's not going back. We plan every week, flying around the country, flying out the country. I really haven't worked since February.
Oh yeah, I know the feeling. Let's say it like that.
Right.
And Vaughn, you got anything you need to add, or you want to
Conversation is amazing right about now. In just backtracking a little bit to what Brother Sultan was saying, is the fact of the matter is what I feel, and y'all chime in if you think that I'm on point with this. That I after I've been in the entertainment business for 34 years, most of it being an actor. And, as an actor, you study the human condition, because there are some things that an actor has to do in order to prepare himself to play certain characters and draw certain emotional qualities that bring about a certain amount of reality to the character that they're playing. But it's far beyond that. It's more of a study of the mind, the psychology of humanity. And what I have come to the conclusion across the board when it comes to art, if you don't have a soul, and the soul doesn't communicate to you how to perform the work, you're never going to get it right. So it stands to reason with me right now that, in what Brother Sultan was trying to interject, that, and it connected with me, because I always said, if we don't remember where we come from, how do we know where we're going? And it's that void, it's that chasm that exists between the young people and the cats our age, because we are the last of the baby boomers. We're in that last group. And I think we've been ignored a while. I think people don't recognize those of us who are in our 60s and 70s that have lived a life and have seen what it's like to grow up during the 1950s and 60s and see where we were and how everything is being taken away again. You know, we won't know what the world's going to look like in the next 20 years. But we have a responsibility to be able to get out there and still, you know, we have something to share to these young people. And like he said, I mean, you know, what the hell is going on? We've always know what's in front of us. How do we get to the solution? And it's in, you know, it's in the art form as well. And, you know, it made me think about the young cat that is really trying to, you know, make a name, you know, make change happen in the realm of the art form right now. And that's Nicholas Payton. Nicholas has decided you know, I think an interesting that he wants to do. He wants to claim the name of what the music is. It's not jazz. It never had a name, but it came from, you know, those people who didn't understand what they were listening to in the first place. You know, you know, I've heard Miles call it social music. I could live with that. But, you know, I kind of related to what Betty Carter said in the song, you know, jazz ain't nothing but soul. And that's what I connected to, because it's our culture. It's what we created. It recognized, it's an emblem of who we are, not of anybody else. And they've always tried to recreate it. But you can't recreate soul. Soul is in the individual. You know, so I can go on and on about this, but it's just the fact of the matter is that it's, you know, it's like you said, Brother Sultan, it's right there. It's just how do we find out where it is right now, and how do we get to the solution? And you know, the music is important, and we have to keep thriving to strive to get it back out there in the forefront, and that's where the education lies at right now.
Oh, it was good.
I do know that also Sultan has a very wide scope of music, which is a good thing. And not only as a musician that has done different forms of music, he's actually worked with some very well-known artists. And are you still, Brother Sultan, are you still working with multiple artists, or are you right now concentrating more on yourself?
Well, all of that, all of the
all of it. Okay.
Oh, my bass group, you know, is the S.O.S band, which I've been a principal member of 30 years, just about 30 years. But there are members in the group. We grew up together. I mean, from teenagers, Abdul Raouf, from Reggie Ward. We've known each other before the S.O.S band. So we've actually had, you know, interaction and accompany other artists, but even before the S.O.S band. Matter of fact, there was a group called the Third World Band, which was the Velvetone before that, where we all met one another. But there are many artists, icon artists, you know, things that I'm doing right now, just to answer your question, and I'm still principal member of the S.O.S band. I'm doing some corporate things, just trying to keep the lights on. You know, they're not selling tickets, so you know they already got money. It's one of the simple things to do right now. So they're hiring people in. That's another segment of the industry that's not like it was, but it still got some life. And you know, continue to working on my solo project, which I'm very excited about it, because this I wanted to do this for a long time, and when my son is producing it, he's Ibn Sultan Muhammad, son of Sultan Muhammad. He goes by the AKA James Bonds. He's producing it, so I'm so excited about this project that he's doing. We wanted to do this for years, and now is the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just really excited about that. I wanted to do it simply because, as I said earlier, we continue to search for new ideas and, to express ourselves. Just searching the music. It's an ongoing thing, and sometimes within the confines of any organization, you don't have the freedom to do that. Because I'm doing a concert with the S.O.S. man. I'm gonna take your time doing it right. Tell me if you still care. Weekend girl. That won't change. So
Right.
it's giving me an opportunity. So if it be the will of God, that the world gets to hear me from a whole nother side. Like the brother say, he's an actor. Well, it's an art form.
Yep.
It's an art form. It's a mean of expression. At a young age, I wanted to be an actor, but we didn't have those opportunities here in the South. We didn't have those outlets. I probably would have been an actor if I came up, say, in New York or LA or something like that. But born and raised here in Atlanta, Georgia, I have no regrets about that. Sometimes sometimes opportunity to pursue whatever you're trying to pursue, they're not readily available. So,
right. And it goes to the society that you're in. The support for the arts, is one of the things that I found was a little bit behind the time, so to say, when I got down here, because I realized they embraced certain things, but the culture when it came to music and acting and so forth, I hadn't run really into a whole lot of people that was there doing that. And that was because I realized that the opportunities weren't really there for them, and it was only for a few. And those few, did some things, but it was not a widespread situation like you find in a larger city, let's say like that, like in LA or New York or something like that.
Right.
So also, Sultan, where could we get your information? People want to reach out to you. What social media platforms are you available?
Well, when the single that's already out and it's on all the on all the platforms. I mean, the one that Apple, YouTube, Spotify, Pandora, Deezer, on all the ones that basically people use, and we're going to continue to follow that marketing concept. We, we thank God that we have a little more of promotion and marketing money, right. And to get some radio play with this one, because we know radio play gives you the opportunity to go out and play your music,
right.
Which I'm still a musician. That's my love. Right. So, one can imagine when all of a sudden I've done this all of my adult life and it's taken away for a minute. I thought I would go crazy. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah. I mean, it was challenging mentally.
Most definitely.
Because I had to discover, other things to do with that space in my life. I've never had to, we've never faced this. I know you can relate to that.
Oh, most
Since
definitely.
I was 15 or 16 years old. Never
Right.
faced this.
Right.
But just go to show how one's life can change in the blink of an eye.
Yeah. So are you on any Twitter accounts or anything where people can just to communicate with you? Facebook, anything like that? A website?
I got my website. I got to work on it some more. I do have just been using mostly the social media platforms, Facebook and Instagram. Twitter, I got it. But you know, brother talked about the baby boomers. I'm in that. We in that. So
Yeah.
I'm not so, you know, my technology is not where perhaps that it should be. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm behind on this, but that's a good point. That's a good point. I'm gonna try to, you know, get up to speed with all of the outlets. But like I say, Instagram, Facebook, at this particular time, you know.
Okay.
And I'm gonna be doing some things on YouTube. I do have my own personal YouTube channel that I'm doing some stuff, and you know, I'll go
just
public
let the
with that.
just let the people know how to get there. That's really what I'm looking for.
Oh, okay.
You know, just let them know.
Well, you know, my email is Sultan Mu, SULTANMUH38 @gmail.com.
Cool. All right, Vaughn, you can let everyone know where your contacts are and how they can get in touch with you over there at Jazz Beats Radio.
Jazz Beats Radio, that is the webpage of the radio station. And you can also reach me. I do have a Facebook page. It'll say Stephen LaVon Coulter. But you know, everybody knows me as Vaughn. And so I'm also on Instagram, Vaughn Coulter. And my new Twitter page is Ain't Nothing But Soul. And mine under, you can find me, you know, connect with me at Ain't Nothing Buts 1. That's at Ain't Nothing Buts 1.
Okay. And of course, I'm Edwin Williams, and I'm the founder of Jazz Matters. And you can reach out to find out everything about Jazz Matters. We are 501c3, and it's at yesjazzmatters.org. That's yesjazzmatters.org. And I'm Sultan, man. It's been great. And I told you the time just flies. So, and I know you got to go to a session, so we're not going to hold you up on that. And Vaughn, of course, you know, you're my partner, so we have to make sure we ride off into the sunset. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, we
together.
Do.
All right then. Well, until the next one, we'll be doing Jazz Beats.
Sultan, it's been a pleasure to meet you, sir. And just joined, you know, I just came in late on the conversation and everything, but I will say this, I've been a fan of S.O.S band for years. Oh. And so, you know, you guys have made an impact ever since you rose from the occasion from Atlanta. And I happened to be living in California at the time, but I said, this band is going to be something else right here. But much success to you, my friend, and keep doing what you do.
In the same, brother, I know your face. And remember knowing your face, I know we've been in the same place. Our paths have crossed somewhere. I can't put it down, but I really enjoyed your perspective on, you know, what's the things that's going on and what needs to be done. I mean, you know, it has been very enlightening, both of you. I mean, you know, and because I know where Edwin is. He's a thinker, he's an innovator, and he's to be commended. You know, all the people that's involved with Jazz Matters is needed. I mean, you know, so we want to support. We want to support. That's my message to everybody, because he has went out on a limb, and I know it hasn't been easy. We know that it's been a struggle, but the Most High say with difficulty comes ease. So I know we're looking for that.
Right. Okay, then. Like I said, we'll end this one, and Sultan, we'll do this again, and we'll get more into it after you release your new project, and just make sure you let me know when that's happening, and we can do another conversation about it, and you'll probably have more to show me, by that time and everything.
I will.
Yeah, and of course,
I promise you that.
Like I said, we will be doing this every Monday. They air on Mondays, and I'm trying to get it to where the platform I can do it all until the rest of the year and into next year and forever. As long as musicians, especially the resident musicians of Atlanta, there is a place, we will give you a platform to say and do and feel the way you want to and express yourselves. That's what at Jazz Matters. Like I said, you can reach us at yesjazzmatters.org, and you could also donate. Now we do have a donate page and that's about the best nation in the world, from what somebody told me, was donation. So it's just a matter of making it happen.
Donation.
Yes, donation. That's the best nation in the world. So go to Yes Jazz Matters and hit the donation and donate.
I'm gonna keep that, bro. I'm gonna keep
that. That'll work.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto y'all, man.
Yes, sir. All right. Thanks,
yes, sir.
All right. We out of here. Bye.